So hi investors, welcome to today's video, and let's start with today's video. Today we are gonna decode what's uh, microcap MSME business, probably a stock which was got listed 2 to 3 months back, and it was quite interesting when it also listed at heavy gains. So let's deep dive today on that business model and business, right? And it's on the railway sector theme. So yeah, let's just start with it. When you board a Vande Bharat train, what do you notice? The speed, the seat, or the door sliding shut perfectly, or the interior that feels like more like an aircraft than a train. So now here's the uncomfortable truth is that most of the passenger believes all of this is built by Indian Railway, but it's not. Behind every modern Indian trains, there are private manufacturers supplying hundreds of precision components, interiors, seats, door, roof panel, underframes, without which the train simply cannot exist. So one such company quietly operating for over 20 years, has suddenly started showing explosive order inflow and raising margin. So defense, and they also have the defense ambitions. So this is the story of Airfloa Rail Technologies Limited, the recently listed SME stock. What does this Airflow actually do? Airflow is not a simple component supplier, it's a turnkey integrator. So, meaning the design component, the build tooling and models, and assembly, install, and even commission them inside the coaches. Their work goes far beyond nuts and bolts. So, Airflow supplies entire train's interior and exterior assemblies, so seats for Vande Bharat, which includes executives and economy, and roof and side wall assemblies, automatic sliding door, nose cones and windows and luggage racks, and even HVAC ducts and toilets and pilot cabins, even Vista Dome and hydrogen train components. So in simple word, Airflow doesn't sell parts, but it sell ready to fit train system. So that's why it's work directly with ICF, Indian Coach Factory, and Metro Corporation, RTCC, RTS, RRTS projects, and even export coaches. This business has pricing power. So railway manufacturer look commoditized on paper. In reality, it isn't. Here's why. Once Airflow design a component, it gets in RDSO approved. So integrates it into a coach platform. Switching suppliers become risky for it, and slow and expensive even. That's why top 10 customers of have 92.5% of their revenue. Airflow gets that 92.5% revenue from top 10 customers, and ICF alone contributes around 53% of revenue. So this isn't a customer concentration risk alone. This is also deep vendor lock-in. So the management was very clear: if we are not having this margin, we will not even take this contract. So that tells you something the important. So they are focusing on the margin also. That's quite rare because it is totally depend upon the contract systems and the agreements you get from ICF and all that stuff. But if they are doing that part exponentially greatly, or that other people can't do, then they can get that heavy kind of margin which they are expecting. And that tells you something important, that the walk away from the bad order, they protect margin first and volume comes later. Look toward the number story. The revenue mix for FY25 was around railway contributed 64.5%, whereas airspace, defense, and other contributed around 35.5%. And product mix was around train material 46.6%, trains train 18 seats were around 29%, and roof and side walls were around 8.5%, doors were around 5%, and other some miscellaneous things were around 11.5%. So order books by August 2025 was around 376 crore. Management later claimed that currently they have 455 crores of active orders, and defense portion is around 65 crores. And then comes the bombshell. So management say in just 1 week we secure order worth of 1013 crores, and that's crazy because while the listing part, when they were unlisted they were having 376 crores, and after dates it's a crazy, right? 1013 crores. So even if we discount the timeline and execution, it tells you one thing clear, that demand is not the problem, capacity is. Capacity is in the bottleneck. So Airflow today runs at 85% utilization, 2 shifts and 2 plants in Tamil Nadu. Management openly admits that with the existing capacity we cannot achieve 700 to 1000 crores. That's why they are doing something big. So expansion plan is like buying 40 acres of land there. Phase 1 was around 50,000 square feet of their expansion, expanding to 1 lakh square feet, where initial capex would be around 20 to 30 crores of amount of, and expected asset turnaround asset turnover was around 4x. So they are also separating metro and railway manufacturing, setting up a plant closer to MCF and RCF. This isn't a reckless expansion, but this is the capacity catching up with the demand. Look toward that defense pivot, or a small today, but it can be massive tomorrow. So now comes the most interesting part of it. Airflow doesn't want to stay alone on a railway component kind of stuff. So they stated an ambition of railway plus defense, which will be a 50% breakup revenue mix in 2 years. So 50% revenue will come from railway, and 50% will come from defense. Defense focus area: anti-drone laser system they work on, loitering UAVs, and autonomous drone, Indo-Israel program, even radar system, unmapped land vehicles, simulators, bodies, aviation, hulks for tanks, and defense platforms. So they have even formed a JV with Big Bang Boom Solution for advanced laser warfare, and they already have approvals for 52 DRDO labs and certifications to supply to HAL, ADA, ADE. And this is not a pipe dream, pipe of dream. This is a early stage execution for their financial numbers and a growth visibility for the future further years. So H1 FY26 till first of this fiscal year of 26, the revenue was around 90.98 crores they achieved, and EBITDA stood at 22.46 crore, and net profit was around 12.09 crores, which was up by 24% from last H1. Guidance: FY26 guidance, revenue guidance is around 310 to 350 crores. FY27 revenue guidance was around 550 crores. CAGR target is around 50 to 60%, and quarter pattern was Q4 alone will contribute 40 to 45% of annual revenue. That's a quite demand they get at a Q4. These kind of what you can say companies, okay, in railway sectors get their large order done by Q4, and even their payment. So that's why they are talking about that they will do annual growth of 40 to 45% in Q4 of this year. That's a huge thing. But they refuse low margin contracts. That's the rare in PSU link manufacturing. So the risk part, which was not me ignored, this is not a zero risk story. Key risk, every company has some risk, so we need to talk about. Key risk is heavy dependence on the Indian Railway, working capital stretch with the rapid scale up system. Defense requires large capital and long gas stations, and possible future equity dilution may require, because they even need 100 to 150 crores in next 2 years, 1 to 1.5 years for their expansion, which we need to look. Even they got their recent listing funds also. So, and even order book numbers need clarity and reconciliation. So this is the execution and sensitivity. Look towards this video's conclusion, Airflow is not just a railway supplier. It is a system integrator with a pricing power, riding Indian Railways capex cycle, and quietly building a defense platform underneath. Okay, the next 2 to 3 years will decide whether it becomes a 1,000 crore rail major or a rail plus defense compounder. This is not a hype story, whereas this is an execution story, and those are always the most dangerous and rewarding ones in the market. So that's it from my side, guys, and this was it for today's video. I hope you like this SMA deep dive, and if you loved this kind of undiscovered SMEs, I will bought it for you. So bye bye, guys. If you like this video, please share, please like, share and subscribe this channel.